Hello guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm just going to be trying to flip a $17 account to a $600 account. So first and foremost, this is the strategy which we're going to be using. So let's say the market is actually selling, so probably, or maybe we have a pullback and then we're looking for continuation. Maybe the market is in an uptrend and wants a change of trend. So what we look for is probably something like this. We have a sweep. All right, we have a break of structure to the downside. We have a pullback. And then we'll have a second break of structure. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and explain this. All right. So what happened here, what you're seeing here on the screen, it's actually more like a Quasimodo pattern. All right. So where we have here the break of what structure, all right? So here we have a sweep of liquidity, sorry. All right, let me just go ahead and tag that as a sweep of what liquidity. All right, so text shift $. So we have a sweep of liquidity here. So since we have a sweep of liquidity, what next are we going to be looking for? We're going to be looking for a break of structure to the downside. So that shows that there is a change of trend. Okay, there's a change of trend. Instead of having higher highs and higher lows, this shows that we have a change of trend to the downside. So we have a break of structure. So this pullback is to provide structure, is for structural liquidity. Okay, so we have a pullback. This is for structural liquidity. So what does the structural liquidity stand for? It stands for the fact that the market has to come back and sweep the liquidity in that particular zone before continuing to push to the downside or to the upside, whichever as the case may be. So, and then the next thing we'll look for is the break of structure to the downside. So we have a second break of structure. So this is actually compulsory that all these three things must align for you to actually take a trade to either a buy or sell trade. So next thing we're going to look for is our POI. So you mark your POI from there to this low. All right, so you mark your POI. Just look for candlestick patterns like the engulfing candlestick pattern, the other blocks and all of that to mark out your POI. So then here we have our protected high. So all you have to do is wait for the market to actually come back, grab the liquidity within that zone, and then keep pushing to the downside. So expect the market. Sometimes the market will just stop, print a candle, and then continue pushing to the downside. Other times it will push to here, right? Other times it will push to here before continuing to the downside. So we're just going to go ahead to the charts, then look at one examples before we actually take our trade so that you guys can actually understand. Okay, so you want it to be swift, you want it to be clean so that you don't actually blow the account. So for you to actually take a $17 to 600 is something that requires skills. Okay, in that you must master your entries. Okay, so right here we see that this market is actually in a downtrend, very powerful downtrend, and it's been in a downtrend for a lot of days. Okay, so what are you going to look for? To the 4 hours time frame, you identify the trend. So after identifying the trend from the higher time frame, okay, you can clearly see that this market is actually a downtrend. So I just want to show you guys something from yesterday. All right, an example from yesterday's setup. Okay, so the thing here is simple, pretty simple, right? So we have a sweep of liquidity, which is right here. Okay, so we have a break of structure to the downside. Right, so we don't want to take too much time to actually do this. Okay, so we have a sweep of liquidity, we have a break of structure to the downside, we have a pullback. That pullback is to create structural liquidity. All right, so let me zoom in a little bit so that you guys can clearly see this very well. All right, so we have our sweep of liquidity right here. All right, we have our break of structure to the downside right here. So the next thing we're going to be looking for is a pullback. All right, we have pullback that creates structural liquidity, and secondly another break of structure to the downside. But that did not actually happen. Okay, that did not actually happen. Okay, but me looking at it from with my own experience, I can clearly see that okay, this thing is actually coming to take the liquidity in that area and start going to the downside. So you see we have our POI here. So the market did not actually trade into our POI, but you just grab the liquidity within that area and then start pushing to the downside. So here we have our protected high, which is there. So I'm just going to go ahead. Remember, we have a sweep of liquidity, second break of structure to the downside, and then the pullback, which is a structural liquidity, and then the second break of structure which did not happen. But with my own experience, I think I'll wait for the market to actually come grab the liquidity from there. So going to the 5 minutes time frame, I just want you guys to see something for yourself, which is actually beautiful, really amazing, guys. So from the 5 minutes time frame, you can clearly see this candle, right? See how this happened. These are the kind of setups you need to actually use and flip your account. All right, so in this particular setup, imagine you putting 10 lots, 20 lots in it. There will be no drawdown. A $17 can give you a $600. All right, so imagine this now. You could have just made your clean $600 all right. So imagine you have 12 positions, you could have made 600. So and then now we just have to move to today's example, right? So let's just go ahead and delete the whole of these junkies from our chart. So looking at today, we're going to try to flip the account from $17 to $600 using the same strategy. Okay, very simple strategy, and anybody can actually implement this strategy. Let's just dive right in. So now guys, you can see that the market has actually left our entry, and on the live account we're almost running like a $40. So I'm aiming to get something like between $500 to $600 from this particular trade. So it's nothing too much, nothing too crazy. We have done this before and we are doing it again to show you guys that this strategy actually works. Okay, so I think that we're just gonna get the same thing we got yesterday. Like it's just gonna play out like that. If it's gonna play out like that, guy, we're gonna be in heaven with the many profits. So see you guys much more later. I'm going to guys as it goes. All right, so that's it. Just simple. You guys can clearly see how it's actually dropping. Okay, so soon we'll get to the target. All right, so nothing too much, nothing too crazy. So it's actually dropping. It's dropping down. Currently running at $86. All right, so this is $100. Okay, $100 right now. So let's just see how it goes. Hopefully we're gonna make some money. And so these are entries, very precise. Okay, very precise. This is it. So seems more or less like we are just gonna end at a break even. So I almost went to about $100. All right, so right now let's come back to our entry. Hopefully we don't get liquidated. So but if we do, I think we're gonna try again some other time.